Welcome to Jets Rewind. This is Marty Shupak. I'm in Valley Cottage, New York. I'm joined by Ray Clifford. He's in California. We're recording this on Sunday, October 24th. It's 5 o'clock Eastern time. The Jets just got killed by the New England Patriots, 54-13. Ray, how you doing? Or shouldn't I ask?
Not as good as I had hoped, and I wasn't even expecting a win, but that was even worse than losing. That was just complete destruction.
Right. Let me give my 30-second commentary, and then you could. Zach Wilson went out with a knee injury. Preliminary is that it's not serious. They're doing an MRI. Somebody said that they think he's going to miss some time, which is truly unfortunate. The Jets lost 54-13, and I just a couple of things. I thought that coming off a bye week and everything that we heard from the coach, some of the players, everything else, that they were going to be prepared, this, that, whatever. They were going to incorporate Elijah Moore in the offense. And for them to put this display on both offensively and defensively is incredibly embarrassing. And it just goes into Belichick. He loved it because he loved running the score up in the fourth quarter. And I'll get to him in a second, Ray, and then I'll hear your response. But the Jets are 32nd in the league on the first play they get from scrimmage doing a run. And of course, coming off a bye week, and our offensive coordinator, Michael Ford, telling us that he's going to have things scripted 24 plays. What does he do in the first play? He runs. So, of course, we go 3 and out. We don't score in the first quarter. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Even this is after I gave him a higher grade, Ray, than I normally would have thought to give him, that I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because of the drops and everything. I think that this guy, he may be over his head. Okay. Now,
are we talking Zach or are we talking?
No, we're talking Mike LaFleur.
Okay.
Now, as far as Zach Wilson, I want to get to that. Whenever you go up into New England, you're not playing 11 players. You're playing 15. And the reason I say that, because you're not going to get any calls in your favor, any borderline calls from the referees or the umpires. There was a play on the sidelines where they submarine our rookie quarterback, and it should have been 15 yards. 2 plays later, he goes out. And the reason I'm saying that is because all you Jet fans and Ray and I witness when they played in London, Quincy Williams could not stop his momentum the second that Ryan let go of the ball, and they call him for roughing the passer. It's just totally embarrassing. And then this coach on the other side, Bill Belichick, who really, he's an unbelievable football coach, but you don't want any of your kids to have the character of this guy. He's running up the score. And one thing Robert Saleh was asked that in the press conference, he said he had no problem with that. But Bill Belichick is one of the most unclassiest guys I've ever seen in my life, doing that, smirking, this, that, whatever. I hope and I pray that there is a day where we could do the same thing to him, because that was disgraceful. He's passing in the fourth quarter with Brian Hoyer, the backup quarterback, and it was just pathetic. And listen, I'm not letting the Jets off the hook. They were a disgrace. They were disgraced offensively. They were disgraced defensively. They were outcoached. And it has to be a wake-up call for our coach. And I think he's going to learn from this. And he's going to see that the 32 coaches in the league, it's not just a good old boys club that they got the job. They're out to stick that spike in the heart, not once, not twice, but they're going to keep hammering that spike in the heart, running up the score, trying to teach you a lesson this way, that way, whatever. I am just beside myself, Ray. you have no idea how I feel. It's just unbelievable the feeling I have to go for this team. And I'm sick and tired every year of looking forward to the NFL draft in April as early as September. And that's what we're going to be doing again this year, too. It's just sickening. I can't stand it. Joe Douglas, who's done an okay job drafting, did a terrible job with the backup quarterback situation. Jet fans, do not get don't put blinders on when you see that the backup quarterback, Mike White, moved the team a little bit. He did. He saw the field pretty well. But this guy, he floats the ball. He had 2 interceptions. He's going to be an interception machine. So, Ray, I want to hear your remarks. My blood pressure is steaming. You have no idea what I'm feeling right now. It's just unbelievable. Go ahead, Ray.
Well, first, I think any coach should say the same thing, that they don't have a problem with them running up the score, because if you don't want them to score, then stop them. And that is the truth. But as much as all the Patriots were celebrating on the sideline after every touchdown, it was like they were in the Super Bowl winning it all. Hey, you're crushing a team. Mac Jones is a rookie, so if he doesn't have a whole lot of class, I'm okay with that to a point. But if I'm Robert Saleh, I say what he said in the press conference too. But in my mind, I'm putting this one, in the back of my mind for future use. And if I get the chance, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to be throwing bombs, but I'm going to keep running our offense till there's like 3 minutes left in the game, and I'm going to try and put up a 50 spot. And I'm not going to sit there and celebrate either. But that's one of the few times I've ever seen Belichick smiling on the sideline before the end of a game that isn't the Super Bowl that they've won. So obviously he was enjoying himself. That's fine. They aren't that good this year either. I mean, they aren't making the playoffs. I'd put money on it right now that they won't make the playoffs, even with the expanded playoffs. I don't think they're a playoff team. Mac Jones, he's fine for what he does. He threw for 300 yards, but I think he threw for about 60 yards in the air, and the rest of it was jet guys not covering and guys wide open running free after they catch the pass. A couple of them were literally 1-yard passes. So Mac Jones still doesn't impress me. I don't think he's, anything special at this point in time, but he fits that system well. As far as running up the score, that not real classy, but that's Belichick when it comes to the Jets. I don't think he does that would have done that to any other team except the Jets. But that's fine, but if I'm Robert Saleh, I keep that in mind. Michael Fleur, his grade from me goes down and down and down every time I watch him. I said, I think we talked about it the last podcast, that this is an important game for him, because if he has a bad a performance as a coordinator after having this week off, then Robert Saleh has got to really start thinking about who's calling plays. I don't put anything into Mike White's performance. He came in and it was already 31-7 when he came in. So, Belichick wasn't exactly blitzing him or anything. And so, yeah, he looked fine. But when teams are preparing for him, I don't think we're going to be all thrilled with Mike White. I mean, and this reflects on Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas did a horrible job again with bringing in a backup veteran quarterback. For whatever reason, excuse he wants to give, we should have either re-signed Flacco or brought in one of these other guys. Hell, bring in McCown now, whatever you're going to do. But if Zach's not out for the rest of the year, you better have somebody besides Josh Johnson on the field with the quarterback starting next week. Joe Douglas, I read an article that Joe Douglas did an outstanding job the last 2 years, with the starting to rebuild our offensive line. Our offensive line stinks, but it's played better. Vera Tucker's going to be good, and maybe we'll run the ball a little bit off the left side whenever Becton gets back. I don't know if Fant's out for any length of time or not. At least Fant was serviceable. The minute he got in there, Udoka gave up. Got caught for holding first play.
Which is
So
typical. And
we have no depth, none. That's the other reason. If for no other reason, that's the other reason I wanted him to draft another lineman or two in the draft, was just for depth. We need guys, and this is why. We had no backup quarterback, and it showed. We have no backup at linebacker, and that was the other thing on the defense.
No tight end.
Well, we traded away the tight end that wasn't any good anyway, so we had no tight end. But how important is Mosley? Because I have to believe that if he was on the field, our defense would have looked totally different. I think that has way more to do with it than any of these guys are really talking about. Mosley, this is no different than when he got hurt against Buffalo in game 1 2 years ago. For 3 quarters, we looked good. He went out, and immediately Buffalo was moving the ball on us up and down the field. In the preseason, when he didn't play and Sherwood was calling the defensive plays, was it Philadelphia or whoever was moving all over us? I mean, it's unbelievable what a difference he makes when he's on the field. That being said, guys were missing tackles. Guys weren't even covering running backs and tight ends coming out off the line. I mean, they were catching the ball with room to run everywhere. I mean, it was scary bad how bad our defensive performance was. And it was just, I won't even say scary. It was depressingly disappointing how our offense looked no different after 2 weeks off. It looked absolutely no different at all. I will say Mike White looked a little more in control in the pocket, but I don't know if that's a result again of being up 31-7 and there wasn't much blitzing going on. But they've got to get things going soon.
I don't want to take anything away from Mike White. Look, he's a professional. He made it to the NFL. I think his ball floats.
Yeah.
I'm not optimistic with him in there. Is he Luke Falk? No, he showed us more than Luke Falk. But let's see what happens. I mean, we got to get Zach back for any number of reasons, if not just for his progress, just to get the reps. And the thing that Ray said, which I agree, and that Joe Douglas missed on, was the backup quarterback. And a perfect case is this past Thursday night. And I don't bet, but I saw that the Cleveland Browns had no chance against Denver. But give it to them. Case Keenum, he was a pretty good game manager, and they pulled it out. And that's what we needed, a guy like, Case Keenum or whatever. And he didn't come through, our general manager. And we're just looking. We had said, Ray, numerous times, we're not the type of team that could come back once we're down 10-0.
No.
We're not going to give out participation trophies because they played hard the second half. Like they well, they try. I mean, I'm thinking more like the Atlanta game, in certain games when they play hard.
Yeah.
It's just a pathetic situation. It's just, and I'll tell you, you got Cincinnati coming in there. They're like one of the hottest teams in the league. They don't have a shot to beat them.
I don't see how we're going to get
right. And if they give us a whooping, Ray, you're going to see the stands. You're going to be able to go to Jet games for like $5 a ticket from StubHub. But just a couple of things. Zach Wilson, before he went out, he was 6 for 10 for 51 yards. He didn't look anything special, but I just want to say, Ray, every once in a while, just like the Titan game, he'll make a pass. He flicked that ball to Ryan Griffin on the sideline. That was just a gorgeous pass. So, every once in a while he does that, and you see that he's got that potential too. But it's just like every game, it's the same thing. It's like it's 3 and out. We're spinning our wheels. We're not getting anywhere.
Well,
go ahead.
It's not, I'm fine with the off script flick of the wrist that does something. That's great, but I need him to look good just running the offense, within the parameters of the offense, not because he's being chased out of the pocket and trying to create something. I want to see him drive the team down the field and make it look like our offense has some kind of a rhythm to it, and that we've got something going and getting it down the field, and not on necessarily even on big plays. Do it like, the Patriots did today. Just, I don't care if you dink and dunk it, just get a drive, go down the field and look like you can, run the offense. All our, all our big plays this year seem to have come off of more or less off script stuff with Zach. And then, and I think I know I told you earlier I don't know why they unveiled that end around to Elijah Moore when we're down 31-7. Why didn't you save that for next week against the Bengals in the first quarter, somewhere where somebody might not be looking for it.
Right.
Now you've just kind of said, okay, here's that. In a game, there was no way we were coming back from that. Even though it looked like it might get close all of a sudden, we couldn't stop them. They punted once all day. Once.
Meanwhile, the Patriots made a couple of nice flea flicker plays.
Yeah, a couple.
Which they did well. And by the way,
They
Ray,
tried like 4 though.
yeah. Speaking of that, I was switching back to the Giant game. Daniel Jones caught a pass for like 15 yards. He made a phenomenal catch on one of those flea flickers, which was good. But I also want to say too that I'm really concerned because we're not establishing any sort of run game at all. And
No.
I'm one of these old-fashioned NFL fans that says when you establish a run game, that opens up everything else. And it's just not happening. When you have a running back like, just so you know, Ray, Michael Carter, guess how many yards he rushed for today? Take a guess.
37.
Right. Exactly.
Was I?
Yeah.
That was a total guess.
11 rushes for 37.
He had one good run or one or two good runs. I think that was in the first half. But
it's funny. If you remember on our preview show, we did one of the over-unders was like 79.5 yards. And they weren't anywhere close to that. I think they just broke 50.
Just him or the team?
No, the team. Remember? We did just the team.
How many did we have as a team?
37, 56, 62.
Oh, okay. Well,
so we yeah. So we missed it by like
17.
17 yards. Ray, I'm going down the list. I don't see anyone really I want to point out who I thought was any good. I really, I mean,
I know Elijah Moore was okay.
He dropped the ball though. Elijah Moore was okay.
Yeah, dropped the ball. Okay, well,
I'll say this: that Denzel Mims almost made an incredible catch, and thank God they showed it.
If he'd have caught it, they probably would have called him for offensive pass interference. But he did. He at least went for the ball.
Did you see how high that guy gets up?
Crowder made a couple nice catches. I mean, our receivers did okay. I mean, they weren't horrible, but it's just, when you got to pick through a play here and a play there to try and find some good things to do, you didn't have a very good game. I mean, I can't say anything good about. We had one good defensive play that I can remember. We sacked Mac Jones before made them punt once.
Sean Phillips, he timed the snap down correctly.
They probably said he was trying to run the ball, so they probably didn't even credit him with a sack.
No, they did. Did they?
Yeah, he was through there so fast.
Yeah, he actually was credited for 2 tackles for losses. So you got to play that guy. I mean, Bryce Hall was invisible. They took him out of the game.
Blake Cashman.
For Blake Cashman, he went out with a groin ball. That guy
came in for one play before getting hurt.
He's like a walking injured reserve list. But I think Nathan Shepard didn't have the penalty today. So that's a good thing. No, I don't think.
But was he on the field other than the?
He made a tackle.
Oh, okay.
I thought Marcus May, he missed some easy tackles. He missed a play on one of those screen passes. And by the way, Ray, I wrote the article yesterday on the 24-hour game plan, which I'm going to try to do every week. I said this game is going to be a screen pass draw play clinic from Bill Belichick, and that is exactly what it turned out to be. Throwing the 2 flea flickers, and I'm telling you, I'm not trying to look for silver lining, but I really think if Robert Saleh has what it takes to be a head coach, this is going to be a good experience for him. Just getting your ass wiped, I think, is a good experience, especially coming off that bye when they were so confident. It's all we heard like for the last 3 days,
We
right?
got it figured out.
Yeah, had figured out. And
when they said that, we figured out the problem there. I was like, okay, we're going to know on this first drive. And I was like, I'd message you. Wow, how different our offense looks.
Right.
3 and out.
Now, Ray, I went
2 bad runs and a sack. There was a good offense.
I went out to get bagels around 11 o'clock with my wife. And as we're driving, I'm listening to the radio. And then I yelled at a curse word. He goes, "What's the matter?" I said, our best player, CJ Mosley's not playing. It just came through. We have no chance of winning. Jamie and Sherwood is way over his head.
Yeah.
And
I'm not even saying he's a bad player.
No,
he's not ready to be the guy to run.
He's not ready. He's not ready. And it's too bad Blake Cashman can't stay on the field, because I would have had him do it, but he can't do it. We have big issues in the linebacking position right now. I had thought I heard Jared Davis is coming back, but then I guess he wasn't ready. But this is going to be a big problem. It really is.
Oh, yeah.
And
Bob was using on the radio broadcast. Bob was using even mentioned when Blake Cashman got hurt, and he said he spent 90% of his Jet career.
Oh, it's
the injury list.
Really, he should give back some of his money. And the sad part is, coming out of college, he had a reputation for injured shoulders. And I maintain
that's what he had the first year.
Once a guy gets injured, he's injury prone. Certain players are like that. Untimely penalties kill us. I mean, why Sheldon Rankins goes off sides on that either 3rd or 4th and 1? It's just mind blowing. It always happens against the Patriots. I know
if you're going to go off sides, though, go ahead and blast the center while you're at it. That's fine with me.
And I got to
have it. If you're going to go off completely. Don't kind of jump a little bit.
It was unbelievable because the Patriots secondary was depleted, and they had some more injuries as the game went on, and they can't do anything. It's just perplexing when we play the Patriots.
If you can't run the ball and he's going to put an 8-man front, you better be able to throw it, and we couldn't do that. And I don't know, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm wondering if our number 1 and Mims was in there later, but he never seems to be in there when the game matters. But I don't know if our number 1 receiver is good enough. And I love Crowder, but I think if you want somebody dynamic, you got to get Elijah Moore into the slot.
You have to do it. He showed us a little bit what he could do on that first.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
So
all right, Ray, I think we're going to close it out. It's a rough way to end the week. It's tough if you have to go to work tomorrow. And I just want to say it was completely embarrassing again for our offensive coordinator. I hope our head coach learns from it. I can't stand Bill Belichick. Another thing I want to say, Ray, the way the week was shaping up, the way there's an old saying, bad things come in threes. Well, the Knicks beat the Celtics in double overtime. The Red Sox were eliminated. I said, oh, great. Everything is trending with the Jets. Might upset. But the bad things that come in threes, I guess it started last week when the Patriots lost that overtime heartbreaker to Dallas. So,
yeah.
But anyway.
Well, I tell you, I would have changed a little bit of my over-under numbers had I been sure that I thought Mosley was going to play.
I didn't.
Even though I thought he was, even though he was dinged up, I thought he was going to get out there. But as soon as I heard he wasn't playing, I was like, oh man, I'd take back some of my predictions.
Believe me, if he was wearing a Patriot uniform, he would have played. He would have had about 15 tackles. Yeah. But he can't play with
on
that
one leg.
All right, for Ray Clifford, who's out in California, and for Marty Shupak, I'm in Valley Cottage, New York. For Jets Rewind, and by the way, check out our website. We're going to be putting up more articles, and we're updating our depth chart and our roster every day. We have a real IT expert that does it. We pay him about $75 an hour, so he's right on it. So anyway, until next time, this has been jetsrewind.com.